Welcome to hell, and I mean that literally, because in the new game Sintopia, the creator of all things has made you the administrator of Hell Inc. Nice ankle bracelet, bruh. Though if it makes you feel any better, don't think of it as hell per se, it's more like a type of purgatory, where we burn the sins away from these souls before they are reincarnated into the world. Now, Sintopia is going to be releasing very soon on April 16th, and Team 17 is sponsoring me today to take a look at this game and show off what it has to offer. So if you, as you watch this video, you like what you see and you want to learn more, there will be a link in the description down below, and I would encourage you to click on that. So what I've done here is set up a very simple sin punishment facility, which I'll staff in a moment, but let me first give you a bit of context as to what's going on in this world. Let's go ahead and pop into the overworld of this shard of creation that we are currently administering. And you're going to see it is fully populated by giant, sentient chickpeas. I kid you not, that's what they are. They're literally just chickpeas. They're not humans, they're humus. That's the kind of humor you can expect in a game like this. These little guys are not very smart, and they're very simple creatures. They will live their lives based on the directions of their king. They will construct things, they will go and explore the world, blah, blah, blah. The problem is, these guys have a tendency to sin a lot, and as sin builds up, it becomes increasingly toxic to the shard, and if you don't want things getting out of control, we're going to have to scrub the sin right on out of it. That's where we come in. When these little guys die, their souls go to this graveyard, which it coincidentally is about to get visited by our good old buddy of the Grim Reaper. There he is, popping up in his nice, convenient little shuttle. And the souls are now arriving in our little facility and will be entering our, well, for lack of a better word, kind of an assembly line. Salvation here, folks! What I'm going to have them do is enter into this queue, nice and orderly, and then we will send them to go see our Omni-Sin specialists to purge them of their sin. Though first, we do need to actually hire some people, so let's go ahead and grab a couple of characters. And not just a couple of these staff over here, I'm going to make sure I grab an administrator as well. Okay, perfect, we are ready for business. Now, the premise of the game is quite simple. What we're going to do is click on one of these humus, and we can see that there are many different sins they have committed in their lives, categorized as the 7 deadly sins. There is sloth, wrath, pride, envy, lust, greed, and gluttony. They currently have too much sin, as read by their sinometer, and we have to bring this down before we can send them back to a reincarnation tower over this direction, and they are sent back into the world. To do that, that's where these specialists come in. They're going to enter in one of these facilities, they're going to sit down in this chair, and they're going to receive all sorts of brainwashing, which is going to tell them that sinning is in fact bad, and being good is in fact good. And over time, we're going to see some of these little stats randomly going down. The goal is to get them down below about like a 50, maybe a 45 or so value if possible. At that point, they're considered good enough. It's kind of difficult to scrounge all the taint off of a soul, but just enough to get them back into the reincarnation tower and not cause too much trouble, that's perfectly fine. So this character, having received her treatment, is down to a sinometer value of 40. Perfect. Now, the reason it has to be this low is not only because we don't want to send a lot more sin back up into the overworld, but also, if we get it below this value, we're going to gain some research points for every one of the souls that have been redeemed. And that's the only way we're going to progress, so I very intentionally want to set it up this way. I've also got myself a nice little logic gate set up by the waiting line. If a character already has, let's say, less than 40 sin value, well then at that point, go straight to go. Collect 200. Don't even bother with all this torment stuff. Go straight up to the tower. Seems like you've led a pretty good life. Anyone other than that, though? Nah, you go into the waiting line. A few more souls have been delivered. Now, at some point, this may not be enough souls. What we can do is go back up to the overworld and just try to, shall we say, hasten the demise of a few of these little humus, these little chickpeas. Case in point, I see all these guys working with dangerous equipment. What if I just gave them, let's say a little push? Woo! Bonk, bonk, bonk. Oh, that one died. All right, one more soul from me. Could do that a few times. There are a number of different spells in the game you can use to interact with characters and usually kill them. That's going to cost you something called faith coins. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The most important thing is understanding how to get your economy up and running. See, in addition to reducing some sin, as we purge sins, you'll see we are actually gaining these little purge dollars as our currency. This is how we're going to keep the lights on and keep the upkeep for all of our little imp employees. If at any point we run out of money, everyone goes on strike and things go kind of badly from there. The more patience I have, the faster I'm curing things. Generally speaking, the more money I can make. And that's going to be our long-term goal. Your employees have needs as well, though, like almost any management game. Something we'll have to do is set up a simple rest room. Let's say one up over here would be fine. And I'll just place down a couple of specialized imp roads just to make sure our employees are able to get there a little bit faster. So now when these guys need some sort of a break, they'll just come over here and they'll just hang out in, in the toilet or take a nap in the pile of toilet paper. I don't know, they're imps. What do you expect? Like, great conditions? Absolutely not. Now, after practicing this game for a few hours, I will say at some point the sin levels do become kind of difficult to stay on top of. These Omni-Sin doctors, they're not especially good at their job. I mean, they only reduce, 25 sins over the course of 50 seconds. I mean, that's all right, but there are much better things that we will want to do. And eventually, the sin is going to start stocking up faster than I can deal with it. So we're going to have people reaching this 50 threshold, at which point they become deviants, right? They are the worst of the worst. They cannot be treated by proper Omni-Sin doctors. We have to have specialists dedicated to curing their type of sin. This is where we have research. If we go over to the Liber Administratum over here, we can see a number of different technologies that we'll be able to research using these hero coins that we get from the redeemed healthy souls. Some of these are going to be boosting up some of my employees, right? Upgrades to the restrooms and stuff like that. Or we're going to have some different improvements in roads and infrastructure, and of course, lots of different punishment options. Gluttonologists, greedologists, wrathologists, you get the idea. Plus, we can upgrade some of the spells that I have access to. Healing Rain, Zap, lots of good stuff. The faster I can start accruing some research, generally the better, which is why I really want to make sure that this is going to work. Now, one thing I could do is set up a nice, healthy little feedback loop up over here. So let's say somebody goes through this Omni-Sin process, and I'm actually not satisfied. I don't feel like they actually did reduce enough of their sin. Well, what I can do is go to a little soul dispatcher up over here, which is kind of our logic gate. I'll just place one right over here. And I'll say, all right, so let's say if you have still too high of a sin value, let's say it's over 40, right? That's going to be your if gate. So what'll happen then is we'll set up a nice little road and just send you right back to the beginning of the queue, like so. And then if I go back to this thing, I can say that if anyone does not fulfill this rule, then they'll just exit through B gate and go right on out the door as we originally had planned. Sometimes that's necessary, because again, the sins are going to start stacking up a little bit faster than I can deal with at some point, so you want to have this fallback method. Now, something I just realized, I made a mistake on something. This restroom is actually not close enough to these doctors. No problem, what I can actually do is just go to the move tool over here, which is great, because you don't want to have to delete these buildings. You lose like half of the value if you do that. But I can just move these guys over here, put this a little bit closer, and that'll work even better. These guys are taking too long on their bake. Nope, just stab them with some little pitchforks. Get back to work, dang it! Now, what are some of the first things I'm going to want to spend some of these knowledge points on? Great question. Honestly, I probably want to increase the amount of money I get from punishing souls, and/or I want to increase the amount of money we get just from having people enter hell in the first place. So let's go ahead and do things like that. The more money I stack up early, the better. Whoop, something's happening up over here. Looks like some of the Humus Rangers decided to go and fight some wargs over here. Well, that was a mistake. A bunch of them died. Okay, that's a whole bunch more that's going to be arriving on the soul train, or bus. Now, you might be wondering, how am I going to get more of those faith coins if I want to start using lots of abilities? Well, for that, we just go over to soul processing. We can put on a Hell Pet Show. I know it seems a little bit weird, but if we just put on a little puppet show over here, after 28 seconds, we'll generate some faith coins. Pretty easy. So I'll set this up along over here and then have it join into the main exit route like so. Now, when your Humus are going to come down this direction and they run into a split in the road, they are going to do a 50-50 split. So not all of my guys are going to come through to this. In fact, quite a minority are, but I also don't really expect to need very many faith coins. So to me, this is kind of not even really worth the effort yet. Unless I plan on murdering a lot of guys to get more souls, it just seems kind of okay. Still, doesn't hurt to try and generate a few, right? As long as we have enough money by the end of every day to pay all of our people. Really important we don't mess that up. Now, one thing we can do that is another way of making some money is to just simply hire up some impish resources and start reducing our upkeep for all of our buildings. Now, that's one thing we'll go ahead and do with these hell facilities. Impish resources, I say. And for that, we just want to hire up another one of these secretaries. And they'll get to work just filing all the bureaucratic paperwork necessary in order to start reducing our upkeep per day. Truly, no greater hell. Bureaucracy. Considering they have an upkeep of like 500 player plus the salary, they don't save you an absolute ton of money, but it is something you can certainly do. Now, what is this? Some guacas. Hold on, what is this? Oh, right. We've got some weird, like, lizard folks who apparently are planning on attacking my temple. Yeah, so that's kind of the rub here. If they're able to get to this temple over here and destroy it, that's the end of the game. Which is one very compelling reason why you want to have a bunch of these power-ups and lots of faith coins so you can cast a lot of magic. Fortunately, it looks like they're distracted fighting some wargs, so that'll slow them down at least a little bit. Be safe, let's go to our power-ups and just go ahead and grab the zap spell, just so I can get rid of them if I have to. Case in point, let's just go ahead and go boom! Yep, that zaps one of them. Almost kills the second one. Boom! At some point, you have to let the humus kind of defend themselves. And this is where maybe using a little force push to just kind of knock a few of them aside wouldn't be a bad idea. They will build up their own little militias and their own little fighting forces and stuff like that, but they just sometimes need a helping hand. Or, of course, you can just let them die and send the souls on back to hell. I mean, either way, I kind of win. Now, one thing I've got to worry about is deviancy. Let's go ahead and take a look at a quick centimeter over here, and we can see that there's currently a fair bit of pride and lust and sloth going around, but one individual is in fact a deviant when it comes to greed. This is a problem for me for a few reasons. Unfortunately, our Omnisins doctors cannot deal with deviants. It will make no progress whatsoever. We have to have the specialist. If we do not deal with them, then they can just stay down here in hell kind of forever, getting worse and worse. Or we could just send them up to the planet again, but they'll just keep building up that sin, and if they get past 50 up into like the 100 territory, they could become like an actual demon. Like a demon of greed, imagine that. Which is a corrupting force I do not want to deal with. So sooner rather than later, I'm going to have to start setting up some of these specialists. Let's get a greedologist unlocked. Now, it's not all bad having some specialists. Their upkeep is pretty high, but it also reduces a very specific type of sin very aggressively, and we get paid handsomely for doing it. So this is good. It's just because it only does one particular type of sin, and I don't have a lot of greed going around, I don't expect to get a lot of value out of it, so it's gonna hurt. Knowing that lust is one of my other sins that's getting out of control, let's get a lustologist unlocked as well. I don't have the money for any of this, but I want to be prepared. Periodically, by the way, your guys are going to be leveling up as they gain some experience. That increases their upkeep, but also is an opportunity to get some extra traits, which can be nice. Oh, see, here we got our first deviant right now. This one's actually got wrath. Right, so he's currently in my queue. When he gets these guys, he's just going to waste their time. So I now have to set something up for that. Unfortunately, a wrathologist is also not something I've got, so, that's only going to do so much. Also, pride is now a thing. It's getting out of control quickly. Well, I've got enough points now, so let's go ahead and pick this up. All right, time to start setting up what I'm going to consider to be my specialist wing of treatment. We'll set this up down over here, and just as before, we do need to hire somebody. And I'm going to change up the logic gate over here. I'm going to create a new rule in this direction. If there is a sin value specifically for, let's say, wrath or whatever, and it is above the number, let's say, 35, all right, I want people to go in this direction. So he's going to go through this gate. There we go. Now he's going down this direction. All right, we got a specialist ready for you. What is going to happen here? Well, I honestly find the treatment in some of these specialist facilities to be a little bit odd. So the other ones are obvious. It's like, oh, sin bad, don't do sin. I feel like these specialists are like, let me give you situations where you're just gonna get angry, like really angry. Let's have some catharsis. Get it all out of your system. But there we go. Apparently just raving to some bad music is getting me a lot of extra money. So, okay. He's getting this burned down. He is no longer a deviant. That's a win for me. Frankly, I don't even care if you are a deviant or not. If you have over 35 in a particular stat, it's worth having these things set up because I get so much more money that way. Let's go ahead and preemptively set up a pridologist as well, since I know that's a very common sin type for us right now. And to make sure that the right people go to the right place, what I need to do is make more of these little logic gates along over here. So we'll say in this direction, if your sin value for... Actually, you know what? No, better yet. Let's just say if your highest sin is pride, just go this direction. Otherwise, move straight on. And this does mean over at this gate, then I need to go over here and add another or rule. So if pride is over 35 or wrath is over 35, then that is good enough. And we'll just keep doing this for kind of everything until I have a specialist wing ready to go for everything. Yeah, see this person right here, not even a pride deviant, but that's enough pride value. It's totally worth going in over here. All right, you're on a game show. Oh, look, you have the crown. Suffer. Suffer with the crown. You're number one. Doesn't it feel so good to be number one as you get crushed? Ha 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 ha. I'm sure somehow they're learning their lesson. I don't know how, but somehow they are. Anyway, your goal is basically to get as many of these specialists up and running as you can. Because again, these Omnisyn guys, they're not good enough. They're really not. All right, we're starting to get a little bit crowded over here. So either I need to have a lot more specialists working kind of around the clock, or I need to start getting some more Omnisyn doctors set up. Part of the issue is I think that we're now stacking up enough Sin that one treatment just doesn't seem to do it. We're not getting very much research right now either. Yeah, these guys are all cycling back around over here. That's unfortunate. Not a lot I can do about it right now, not easily. Now, one problem I'm starting to have. Up in the overworld, not everything is looking phenomenal for these little guys. They actually need a certain amount of food every single day or they're going to start starving. And when they starve, they start becoming more gluttonous and bad things happen. So what you can do is a few different things. First off, you can actually take a look at the individual ruler of this nation. He just pulls a scepter from the stone and he is now the ruler. This particular character has some strengths. Wants to have lots of merchants, priests, and doctors. Not especially good at harvesting, which might explain some of the problems we're having with the harvests. If we don't like this character, completely fine to say, Shablamo! Bye, King. All right, someone new randomly is going to be picked out in the world. This lady right here, she's eagerly running up to get her prize. Hopefully you will rule in a better way, all right? And basically, I hope you have some strengths I actually care about, because I don't mind just killing as many leaders as it takes in order to get a king or a queen I'm happy with. Okay. Lots of priests and soldiers and stuff, not so much in merchants and rangers. I guess it's all right. The other thing to keep in mind is at nighttime, your little chickpeas like to, as the game calls it, shaboink. And you can interrupt them by simply doing a push thing on, let's say, some giant bells, if you can find them. Just make a bit of noise, make a racket, and that distracts everyone, and they stop with the population growth. So if your population's getting too big, that can be helpful. Oh, we may have a small problem here, by the way. Yeah, it looks like a pillar of atonement just appeared on this world here. As we start building up Sin, so 50,000 sins, it will eventually trigger an apocalyptic atonement crisis. I have no idea what to expect with one of those, be honest, but it doesn't sound good. Definitely need to get more doctors, by the way. We are building up quite the queue. All right, fine. Some more Omnisins for now, I suppose. Let's go ahead and upgrade the restroom into a break room using some research points. This is going to reduce how long people need to go on break for quite a lot, actually, by 75%. So the more uptime I have with my employees, the way I see it, generally, the better everything is going to be running. If I can just get a bit more of my research, I want to start getting more specialists for all the different sins. Oh, we're getting attacked by some Gurok things. All right, well, this was going to happen eventually. You know what thing we could do? I have found some little power shrines out in the world. I don't know if I can find one. Here's a good example. These little shrines right here, you can have rangers from your humus come over here and grab some of these things, and they can give you some special powers. For example, I can just place down a gigantic rock, like right over, let's say, here, okay? Now with said rock, why don't you guys come a little closer? Maybe I can whack you with said rock. Little closer, little closer, little closer. Waboom? Okay, it does a little bit. Hit him again. There we go. Do some damage. Unfortunately, these guys are looking kind of strong. I'm a little concerned that my humus might be in a little bit of trouble. Uh-oh. No, we got a pretty decent number of soldiers over here. The new queen rules wisely. Excellent. Let's add a gluttonologist onto our roster. Yeah, we're filling up way too much over here. Part of the problem being our graveyard is actually full of souls. Where is it? There it is. That's way too many souls building up. Yeah, our population has grown a bit more than I am comfortable with. We need to interrupt some of the population growth, or just get people, I would say get people killed, but that sort of continues with the problem, doesn't it? We're not keeping up. Since I can't seem to keep up with all my Omnisins, I actually think I'm just going to lower the threshold for some of these other sins here. Let's say I make this 30 or something for now. I mean, it's still, even though there's a little bit of wasted efforts, the amount of extra money we make from this type of sin is so much better than the Omnisins. It'll still be a profit, I think. And in the meantime, we actually might be able to relieve some of the pressure that's currently on my Omnisins over here, because this queue is getting a little unbearable. There we go. Seems like we're making a lot more money. Also seems like greed is a serious problem for us. Well, if we're really not having any issues with certain kinds of sins, like wrath, for example, isn't so bad, we could temporarily just get rid of this, replace it with some more greed treatment. Yeah. Now, one other problem I'm having, and this one may seem a little bit counterintuitive, I have an undesirable number of saints in the overworld. I don't know if I can find any over here, but there's some guys with little halos. There they are. These little insufferable saints over here. They pretty much do no wrong. Their sin is always in really good shape. You'd think that's really good for us. Not really, though. For some reason, heaven doesn't reward us for taking care of saints' souls. So we don't get any money for treating them, we don't get any research points. Like, it's not really desirable to have saints for us. Like, think of this as a jobs program, okay? I have to create the problem that I then solve. That's the only way that this works. So we actually kind of want to get rid of the saints. One thing I can do, ironically, is put them through a really long waiting line, and their holy patience will eventually start to fall behind. They will snap, and yeah, that's actually a good way of killing off the saints. I don't know. Feels wrong, but if it works, it works. Largely speaking, though, we are making lots of money, and we can see that I'm keeping sins pretty under control, mostly. Now, one thing I could do that would really help me burn down a lot more sin is if I actually pick up the 70 Omni-Sin Doctor, an upgrade you can only pick up if you've researched every other specialty. This is a straight-out upgrade from the normal Omni-Sin Doctor. It removes a lot more sins. It does take a little bit longer, but it's not so bad. Still can't deal with the deviants, but more money and more sin remover? Yeah, that seems like a good idea for me. Just need to get a little bit more research. There it is. Let's pick it up. Alrighty. Place down our first one right over here. And you're going to see that this thing is a little bit more advanced than what we've been using before. There we go. Mass upgrades. Alright. So again, quick reminder. What happens with these Omni-Sins? Minus 25 sins plus 300 money. This, minus 40 sins, plus 720. Yeah, it takes almost twice as long, but it's pretty good. What the heck is going on over here at the Lust Doctor? Oh, wait, why are all the sloth people... I've messed something up in my logic. Why are the sloth people coming over here? It's actually a great question, because there should be nothing that allows for sloth to come this direction. So where have I crossed the streams? I don't know, but we're going to have to fix that. Let's get ourselves some other specialists over here. I think Sloth and Envy are the only two I haven't been treating, right? So we'll fix that. There we go. And over here, we'll just set up some more logic gates to make sure that doesn't happen again. There we go. All right, get that sloth out of your system. Just wander around, laying around watching TV and eating pizza. Oh God, I'm slothful. There we go. Mass reorganization real quick should send all the sloth people over here, of which there are many. Okay. Ooh, I can see things starting to fall apart here. We've got like 24 deviants. Where is it bad? It's Pride. Pride's the killer right now, huh? I don't see a lot of people stashed up over here, so either they're all alive and have gone through a few events that are making them proud, or something. Uh-oh. Looks like a Lust deviant was also just made the king of this area. That's a problem. Where are you? Hi. I can't have that, so shablamo! So what have the chickpeas been building, by the way? Well, I got some priests over here, which apparently they gain pride. Okay, there's a lot of pride going around that direction. What about the barracks? Doesn't look like they create any particular sin. Well, that's good to know. Builders also gain pride. Doctors gain pride. Well, no wonder we're having so many pride issues. All of our careers are going that direction. Well, our current ruler likes rangers, so I think this might still be kind of correcting itself, little bit by little bit. Oh God, we got a big honkin' wildfire over here. Big wildfire. Well, I could help. I could place down a healing rain spell, and that would put a fair bit of this out. Let's protect the tree, I suppose. The rest of these people, if they die, I mean, like, you know, stuff happens in life. I can't protect you from everything. All right, I'm clearly reaching some capacity. We're going to have to rethink how we do a fair bit of this. Boy. Well, one thing we could do, of course, is just go ahead and buy out some territory. I got the money for it. Let's do that. That gives me a lot to work with. What the heck is this thing? Some sort of a dream studio thing? Neat. What does it do? Increases or decreases birth rate. Are we going to create movies that actually incentivize people or decentivize people from having kiddos? Very funny. Anyway, let's go ahead and rework this quite a lot. How do we want to do this? I can set up a handful of facilities over in these different directions. I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I get 2 of every facility set up? That's kind of what I think I need. What are my highest sins right now? It still is mostly coming down to lust, gluttony, and pride. which I've largely got here. Greed is not that bad, but the rest is looking okay. So let's see how this works. I'm going to open up the floodgates once again. Let's see if my sorting system works or if it was a horrible, horrible blunder. Seems like so far so good. And of course, I still want to make sure that as souls get out of here, they go back through the loop and recycled. Oh, we're getting full over here now. All right, we're getting really clogged up over here now. It's this stupid line. I've opened up some additional Omni Doctors, but that can only do so much. Oi, 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 oi. Part of the problem is this stupid administrator. What is she doing right now? She's stunned? Why would she be stunned? Explain to me how that... Oh, she failed in her job recently. You know something? You're fired. Get out. What now? Okay, it appears... Oh my god, what was that? We appear to have some sort of... Hold on. We just had some sort of a soul rot creating a disease. That's great. But then what the frick was this that just happened? Did an angel just show up? Oh, it's a dark seraph. Well, hi! Aren't you interesting? The pride demon has been summoned. I don't know why. My pride's looking, you know, reasonably good, considering. But this character is now going to be summoning pride spawns to raid the temple every 2 days. Also, less pride resistance and so on. So, great. Okay. Oh, boy. This is not good. They're going to go ahead and try to attack the demon immediately. Where did you go? You went all the way over here? Oh, my God. Oh my god, look at this. This whole place is getting corrupted. Well, this ain't good. Looks like there are some... What the heck are these? Some guacas trying to kill this character, who is not immortal. Pretty strong. If we got some good spells, maybe we could do some damage. Like some mag mines. That sounds fun. So I'll just drop some of those big rocks there. Set you on fire. How do you like that? Actually, you don't seem to care about it very much at all. Oh boy. Legitimately, though, I can't contain this. I can't sustain it. I'm completely falling apart over here. Let's try some other stuff. Let's get more of these doctors in position. Or, how else can I do this? What's a way to fast track so that people don't keep going in over here? I can try to set up some extra stops so that if some people are not looking sufficient, they can just do some extra cleanup over here, I suppose. It's not enough, though. I need people to stop doubling up over here on this line, right? That's kind of the killer, is I'm not sorting anymore, and these guys aren't doing their work until this gets done. And it looks like we are about to hit our atonement crisis as well. You guys couldn't stop sinning, huh? Just couldn't do it. I tried to teach you again and again, but no. Oh boy, here it comes. Here it comes. What horrible apocalyptic crisis are we being placed before today? God's gonna punish me! Oh... Yep, big meteor. Okay, okay. Raining stars from the sky. Sounds good. That looks like a demon. Oh, boy. All right. So that's our apocalyptic nightmare, huh? It is a rage lord. Thangorod Rip. What a fun name you have. All right, so we got 2 demons on this stupid map now. I don't have a whole lot of spells I can cast. I can try to get some of these rat spawns split up a little bit so that armies can deal with them, but yeah, this looks like a real bad invasion. I mean, the soldiers are doing their best, but guess what? I actually can't put enough souls back into this world to fuel the armies. And I have nowhere near enough faith coins either. Wait, was he defeated? Oh, he was already defeated. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Okay. So I would love nothing better than to hire you and make you a permanent addition, but I have nowhere near enough heroes. So we're probably going to have to banish you. Oh, well. Would have been cool to add him to my staff, but this will be fine. Bye! Hey! I can't believe we survived that. Wait, it looks like there might be more demons. Oh, God. It's... Okay, your thing, and then... There's another one. Yep, we got 2 Dark Seraphs. Well, I have absolutely no idea what I'm gonna do about that. I don't control your armies. So, good luck, guys. Oh, looks like we have another one of these demons roaming around over here. Okay, I think we just keep getting more and more of these every few minutes or so. Okay, he's getting sucked away. Let's hire him this time. Bada boom, you work for me! Oh shoot, but the temple's actually under attack from some, what is this, blind seers? Okay, we got actual monsters attacking me now. Well, what can I do with Thangorod Rip, whatever you are? You can be assigned as a Rathologist in the Hell Pet Show or in a Total Hell Recall? I don't think that's necessarily what I need. So a wrathologist, huh? You can be the one who's gonna teach them how to do wrath, huh? Sure looks like it. So he's just gonna what? Hover over here for fun? Well, what's the boost effect gonna be exactly? Voids the soul and earns 2 heroes when breaking wrath deviants. Well, that's a good way for him to pay for his upkeep. Not that any of this matters, though. We've got... Whoa! 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 What did we just get attacked by over here? Is that a freaking beholder? It sure as heck is. All right, sure. We got beholders now, guys, for the heck of it. Why not? Oh, yeah. I think my entire village is literally about to be destroyed by sin. The living embodiments of sin on multiple fronts. I have 18 hummus living. That's it. 15, sorry. 14, it keeps going down. Well, at least I was able to banish this sucker. Not that I have enough points to hire him. Though if I go a little bit longer, maybe I will. Ah, I'm 1 shy. Boo. All right, get banished. Yeah, I'm pretty sure our civilization is very dead, folks. Oh, our temple's almost completely destroyed as well. I didn't even notice the walls were breaking down. Yeah, it looks like pride doth cometh before the fall. It's a zombie invasion. Literally a zombie invasion. Where's this brain buster? And we have a succubus? Okay. Oh boy. And a leprechaun too, why not? Sure, greed, lust, and sloth all in one place destroying my temple. Well, dang you all! Sin wins again, I suppose. Well, we survived for about 24 days. I would have said that was pretty good, but we were really struggling to stay on top of that many of those souls. Maybe I just needed to build, like, literally 15 or more of those Omni Doctors, or maybe I just need to be a little bit more, liberal with my specialists. You know, keep those things working around the clock no matter what it takes. I mean, we had lots of space I could have worked with and plenty of money. I was just being greedy. All right, that's what got me. I died to the sin of greed. Still, fun experience. I love the theming and idea behind this game. The idea that bureaucracy is literally hell, like, I mean, that just speaks to me on such a personal level. Plus, it's an actually good management game. There's quite a lot of challenge behind it, a lot to keep track of. It seems simple enough to get into, but apparently there's a lot that I have to master. So that's a look at Sintopia, everybody. Again, the game is coming out on April 16th. If this is the kind of thing that strikes your fancy and you want to give it a go for yourself, then I'll have a link in the description down below. You can click on that, give the game a wish list, or maybe pick it up if it's already past release day. Once again, of course, a big thank you to Team 17 for the sponsorship. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.